Hello, hello. Welcome to the Psychedelic Circus. This is from Jeffree Star. I've been using it this whole week. You even got to see me use one of my looks on camera. And I've at this point completed using this entire palette completely. But let's talk about the outside first. Let's talk about the boxing. This is some really cool boxing. This carton. You can see there it says Psychedelic Circus, Jeffree Star Cosmetics. The whole thing is pretty much very jiggly wiggly. If you look really closely, you can see they've listed the ingredients for every shade on here. Kinda wish that was a little clearer, but I guess you could go to the website if you really wanted to know what the ingredients were in these. I like how there's this tab here that makes it open a lot easier. This thing's made out of plastic, so I hope it doesn't break. But this is such cool packaging. This is some cool, simple packaging. It's just literally a rectangular makeup palette, but it's made it so much fun by having this kind of like 3D like impression on it. Like that's really cool. I really like 60s aesthetic, and the 60s are very psychedelic, so I was really excited for so much color. And same thing on the outside of this. I like this kind of lava lamp, just mesh of colors. It's super shiny, metallic. And on the back, I think it's just the distribution information. It says pressed pigments, and it tells you what shades are the pressed pigments. But yeah, it looks like a geode, like water. It's very trippy, very cool. There's some cool mushrooms on the side. And we're gonna cover that up so there's no glare on the camera. And here is the wonderful shades. We have, let's see, I believe we have 21 shades in here. There are 21 shades. This is basically the sister of Jawbreaker, but which palette do I prefer? I think I called it in that video, guys. I think Jawbreaker is probably the better colorful palette. Here's what it is, and I kind of gave my thoughts on this palette when I was originally using it. I think overall the mattes in here are pretty okay. Like I've said before in that video, I feel like I'm a bit harder on Jeffree Star Cosmetics because I have used their makeup palettes for a few years now. So I know when it's good. When it's good, it's good. And I know when it's bad, it's bad. And this one's kind of more in the middle of the road because I think their matte eyeshadows are okay, but they're not to the usual kind of par that they are. They're very powdery and there's a lot of kickback in the pan. And now I don't really mind that because I think you will get a lot of pigment and payoff, even though there's so much kickback. My favorite matte shade in here is this new formula that I hadn't seen before. So it's in this one, and it was in that Cotton Candy Queen palette that I also just reviewed recently. There's these matte shades that he's been doing recently with the sparkle. Ooh. And you can definitely see the sparkle. Do you see that? You can definitely see the sparkle on these shades, even when applied to the eye. And a lot of the times with matte shades, once there's sparkle in it, it just does not work very well in terms of you lose the sparkle. You're not losing the sparkle in these, which, by the way, the purples and blues in this palette are the best. They're the best colors in this palette. I did a wonderful look with Tripping Balls, which I also think of all the shimmer shades in here, Tripping Balls was probably the best one. Just a nice, smooth, easy, applicable formula that I could pick up on my brush. Very cool. We have a purple shade here with some blue sparkle, so it's kind of a duochrome. Very nicely pigmented. So the purples, the blues, those are all pretty positive. This mint shade over here was pretty meh. It was like okay. I think it could have been made better. I think this could even work better as a highlight. But it was okay. I think it could have been a little bit more blue, but it was alright. This shade was also alright. This Mindbender shade is really weird. It's definitely a different formula. I'm kind of wondering if it's more of a topper or if it's just starting a hard pan. Like, can you see how that looks a lot different to this? And I could tell this one was going to be a good shade because it looks like it has a lot more moisture than something like this, where you can kind of see how smooth it is. Like, it's been smoothed down already. I'm going to break it up a little with my finger. And I think this might be more of a topper. Maybe it's meant to do that, but it's like a red with a yellow-green kind of shift. I think that's really unique. I wish, again, the formula in this was a bit better, but very interesting color. I like that color choice. It's very fun. This over here as well, it says Tears of Joy, cry in tears of sadness. This one is so weird. This is like almost a glitter, but not a glitter, but kind of like a satin, but not. So hard to describe a shade like this. I've never seen something like this in any other brand either. It's kind of like a light glitter because it's hollow. You can definitely see how hollow it is. It's like a hollow for your eyes. Even though I don't think this applies the best, and I think again this formula could have been better for this hollow shade. I didn't have any irritation with my eyes because it is kind of like a weird dry glitter, fine glitter to put near your eyes, near or on your eyes. I didn't have any issues with fallout once applied to my eyes. If you have fear of that, then of course I would say use like a primer or a glitter glue to make sure it does not fall into your eyes if you have super sensitive eyes. But I didn't use either of that, and it stayed on my eyes pretty well. We have this really weird, what's this called? Perception shade. It's like this brown, and it's kind of like a cream. It's not a shimmer, but it's not really a matte either. It's a very bizarre kind of formula, but it's soft. So it's like almost a cream, but not fully a matte. That one's also a little weird. It also has some gold sparkle in there, so that's really cool. I think the worst shade in here, which, surprise, I'm gonna depan this. I'm going to depan this. Don't cry, but I am gonna get rid of this Candy Flip shade. I'm going to put my favorite lavender purple shade from that Cotton Queen palette. I'm gonna put it in here because this pink did nothing for me. This pink as a light medium girl, just, it does nothing for me. I didn't like it. I don't think I need it. I have that wonderful bright pink in there, and I think that's enough. Something like this light pink, I don't need, just personally. So I'm okay with giving this up and putting it in the other palette so I can give that Cotton Candy Queen palette away. But like the rest of this, it's okay. I can kind of understand why there wasn't too much hype about this palette. I think people really love other palettes, kind of like Star Wedding. I think that's one of the palettes that still, you know, is selling. People really like that palette. The is it Blood Sugar palette is, you know, just iconic. Just one of the palettes that also I think is constantly selling. I think this was fun. I like the bright looks. I did 5 looks basically with this palette. I did a pink look. I did a teal slash, not teal, mint slash green look. I did a purple slash blue look. I did a brown look. And then I did a orange look. So those are what I was able to look around, because I think this is more of, so he has these palettes, and the one that I'm thinking of is Beauty Killer 2. And the formula in there, again, it's okay, it's fine, but it's definitely much more of an expert mode kind of palette. And this one I feel like is a little bit more moderate, because you have to actually look at the palette and see what looks can I do if you were only to use this. Otherwise it's going to be, obviously, you know, a complementary palette where you carry your one everyday palette plus this. But if you were only using this, I do think this one is easier to use than something like the Beauty Killer 2 palette that has like neons and purples and blues and the pinks and stuff like that. Also, by the way, I mentioned it in my Get Ready With Me, but I'll mention it again here. There is this shade here called Sideshow Blush. I don't think he would have called it blush if he did not want you to use it as blush. I did use this as blush, and it works great as blush. It works fine as blush. It is circus themed, so it is red leaning, but it does work well. It did blend out well. I like it. I'm happy that that's a cool little, not Easter egg, but it's a cool little thing for that to be in there. And I like that he labeled it as a blush, so you can see how well this does work as a blush. I'm keeping this, minus the one shade I'm just going to depan, but otherwise, it's a good complementary palette. You got some okay-ish shimmers in here, pretty solid mattes. Again, some of the formula could be a little bit better, bring it up to more of the standard of what you might expect in like the Star Wedding palette compared to this. But I think it's an okay palette. I hope y'all get this on sale sometime soon. I think this palette's been pretty much out for almost 2 years now, and I still have not seen it on sale. I have not seen it in any mystery boxes yet. This is definitely a palette I think that he needs to put on sale or put in a mystery box or something so more people can try this palette, because I think that's at this point what a lot of people are waiting for. But that is my information on this palette. Let me know if you have any questions about this palette. I would love to answer them down below, but other than that, y'all have a great day.